Hello, listeners and viewers. This is the Faison View podcast. Let's get it. Episode 120. Confused, man. Back at it again, man. With the heat. Back at it again. Subscribers, subscribe to my channel. Link below. You already know. All right, let's get into it. Topic number one, we're going to talk about Jordan Peele, Us. Oh, my goodness. And its meaning. Secondly, we're going to talk about Just Hilarious and her comments on the airplane. I don't know about that. Thirdly, we're going to talk about Jusse Smollett and all the charges being dropped. Hey, whatever. About to get to it. Man, Us. Best movie I've seen this year. Let me just gas it up. Because it is what it is. For real, for real. Another masterpiece by Jordan Peele. Shout out to him. Shout out to the actors, Lupita. And shout out to Winston Duke and all the other actors involved, the family, the children that were the children actors and actresses killed it. Jordan Peele, man, let me just talk about Jordan Peele, man. Your man is a beast. The way he made us think about Get Out and how we still couldn't, articulate what went on in that movie and really had you thinking, like searching and trying to find answers. This movie, if you have not seen, and I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but if you have not seen, it's 10 times better, I feel like, than Get Out, and has so much more symbolism, which is crazy to me how he could up his performance in Get Out, but it is that. And Us, man, just to get into the meaning of Us, like it messes my head up because it has so much going on in it that related to Us. And Us, the movie title, and what I figured out as the movie went off and started thinking, Us is the movie title is the U.S., United States. It's our country. It's and just off rip, it's really coming from a standpoint of how our country is looked at today and how our country is today. And with that meaning, it went through things of classism, privilege, and power, and like a whole lot of other things in the movie with the characters as well. But just to stay on that point, classism in a huge way, in my opinion, classism in a huge way, because you can see the differentiation between Lupita's characters when she was younger, and spoiler alert, but when she was younger, and kind of seen a shadow, if I want to say, not to give it away too much, because it just came out. Everybody hasn't seen it, so I'm gonna be fair. But the other half of her, of the shadow world per se, and it just goes to show the differences between the two, and as the movie went along, and the difference between the two, and how one who is privileged enough to have all these things in life, to be granted, all these things in life, and one to not grow up in that circumstance and to be held against your will of being in that product or an environment. And it just goes to show, like, that's a lot of what our world is today. Like, you have these wealthy people that look down on people that are poor and that suffer from poverty and live in different worlds. And also, it tied into immigration a lot, too, and what we're going through today with current statuses of, per se, the wall, and really just building a barrier between United States and immigrants that are not originally from here, and how they may feel in this certain type of light, how they feel being outsiders and looking in on something that's so fixated, because outside of looking in, it seems like we're such a great country, but we have a lot of problems within our country. And it doesn't just full out, and that's why Jordan Peele is amazing for this, because it didn't just pan out in that way of how I'm just talking about it. It's a deep meaning, and I've came to that conclusion of that's what most of it's about. And you have certain characters that they have in the movie Us, that show a lot of certain other characteristics of how we look upon, the U.S. Well, you being from here and actually knowing what's going on, and it's talking about privilege and having certain privileges to do certain things when others may not. You know, it got deep. It's real deep, and the movie was just so dope to the very ending, and the ending just really took a lot of people away, and that was one of the biggest parts of the movie. But it's crazy because he's come out with another hit. He's in his own lane, 70 million, the best, and I feel like the best. But I mean, in history, he just broke 70 million first weekend for original horror film, and he's just gonna keep building and building and building because we never seen horror films put in this manner. You have ones based on a true story. You have ones that are very, very fictional. Then you have ones with Jason and Freddy cutting off heads, but this ones adds suspense, horror, comedy. It's a masterpiece. It really is. And Lupita did an amazing job. And I promise you, this year come back around, this don't have an Oscar, I'm gonna be tight, and I'm sure a lot of other people will, because the performance she had, the performance Winston Duke had, the performance Jordan Peele had, they all deserve it. The whole cast. This movie is amazing. It's something to see. Y'all have to go see it. Lupita definitely did her thing. Her character was the main character, and it spoke volumes to a lot of things. And man, I might be talking about this again next week, and because to get a full dive on everything and with the movie, within the movie and what happened. But next, man, shout out to Jordan Peele and Us, man. Y'all gotta go see that. But next, man, we talking about Just Hilarious, and were her comments funny or hilarious? And because man, this is a slippery slope, and she's been getting tarnished, and she actually apologized for it. But Just Hilarious was she was on live, and she was really not, really not feeling too comfortable with this Muslim man who was on the flight with her, and it kind of messed a lot of people views on how they see her, because it's like she is African American, and we deal with these problems daily. We have a history of dealing with people prejudging our character and prejudging who we are because of the color of our skin. So who are we to judge anybody else when we don't want, we don't want to be racial profiled. Nobody does. But we don't want to be racial profiled because that's been happening through the history of time. With everything, and with everything being heightened with the police, and everything just being, be putting on the with clothing lines and people making a mockery of us. So we deal with these things. So we shouldn't, look at other people in another light. It defeats the purpose of what our integrity is as a culture and as a people. A lot of people feel different ways, I understand, but we're not the ones to judge, and that's what everybody was getting at. It was kind of, people felt like it was tasteful, and I agree with that point. But also another point is to the other side, in which she could say, in her standpoint, like, in the United States of America, we've had a lot of problems with foreigners, and a lot of different things happen, and 9/11 being the most craziest time we went through probably as a country, and the detriment that happened, with a lot of families being lost and a lot of things happening. So it's a crazy and touchy subject, but also you can't look at people in that light, especially us being African American and our culture and what we go through daily. We shouldn't judge people because we don't like being judged, and we shouldn't be judged. But it's hard to. I get what the other side is. It's hard not to judge when you see a certain type of person that cause so much pain and so much heartache, than not being from here and being foreigners and not wanting to see our country, happy at a time. But also it's messed up, and I see why people, getting on her, but I just wish, and what I'm seeing lately, and not a testament to her, because she's a bright female, she's a good actor, she's a good comedian, but just what I've been seeing lately is a lot of there's a lot of people that are doing certain things where that are in the limelight and that are celebrities are just, you know, saying things that they just, you know, they should just stir or not saying don't speak up, but also, you know, things that come out your mouth. Everything that comes out your mouth is not, you know, something to be broadcasted, just point blank, period. And I feel like, you know, her broadcasting that situation and eventually getting the man kicked off of the flight was very, you know, just a little tasteful. So, man, that situation, I just hope that she grows and builds from that situation. I mean, she's in good care for real because she's made it to the industry. She's been a up and rising comedian. She's doing her thing. You know, keep doing your thing. But it's sad that, you know, that we as a culture, you know, we just can't get into this line of judging people and racial profiling because it's not fair. It's not fair to anybody. You feel me? So like, let's just not do it. You know, because you don't know this person from a can of paint. Let's be real. Let's respect each other. Point blank, period. You ain't gotta like anybody, but let's just respect each other. Man, next, Jusse Smollett, man. Just to segue into the Jusse Smollett dropped all 16 charges. I am happy, you know, happy for him that he didn't get, you know, that he didn't get put in jail, in which I felt like, you know, if what happened to him was supposed to happen to him, I'm not going back on my word at all. It's not, that doesn't change the fact that I think he lied, because that story is unsolved. Like, all these things wouldn't even be happening. You wouldn't be charged with anything if you just didn't do what you did. And it brought a lot of attention to a lot of things that are going on today, with you referencing the MAGA hat, with you referencing a noose, with you references a lot of things, and the story just sounding so crazy. Like, let's just like what I was just saying. Let's just move on about our daily lives. Everything does not have to be broadcasted, man. It doesn't have to be broadcasted. It doesn't just go for celebrities. It just don't have to be broadcasted. And I mean, you know, a lot of people, and what I don't like a lot of people, you know, oh yeah, I was here for Jusse, yeah, King Jusse. No, I don't want to hear that, because you was just on his neck a week or two ago, and he's still not just trying to down our people. He still lied about the situation, and a lot of people had his back for the situation. It's like, this situation didn't have to happen. You were just involved in it, bruh. Who else could have been there? So it's like, man, be careful what you say out your mouth. Be careful what you do in the public eye. Like, you made a whole case for yourself. And it's like, it's unfair to a lot of people who are actually going through these situations, and that who are actually have a different sexual preference, and might get steam from it from other people that don't really view it that way, and that are ignorant enough to do something about it. You know, a hate crime, you know? Like, let's just stay away from all the drama, man. For real. Like, this, it has to stop, man. Golly. Relax. But, man, this is all I got for you today, man. Shout out to everybody listening to Faison View Podcast. Link in bio. You already know. Man, it's a celebration this week. My father retired 30 years, man. 30 years in the force, man. Firefighter, give it up for my father, man. Hard-working man, one of the best man I know. And it's just such a blessing that I have a father in the world like that. A lot of people can't say that, so it's a blessing, man. But we out of here, man. Tune in every Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Ig-malikspaceghost. You know. Faison View Podcast.